This is Pankaj Truhan, and with me is Mr. Manish Bhatia. Well, we people are working on a very delicate issue and a very delicate subject, which is called NDE, near death experience. Today, I'm going to talk to Manish about the near death experience he had. Hi, Manish. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
So, Manish, could you just explain me how it happened?
So, this is 13th August 97, around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I was in Delhi, I was going towards Rohtak Road, standing on a red light. Uh, it was a red light, but, a lot of traffic was flowing. Since I saw a red light, I stood. And then, a truck came and ran over me. So, effectively, what happened, split second, I realized I was hit by a big truck, got entangled, dragged, and finally, I think the truck stopped, and I was thrown back and forth. And then when the truck stopped, I was an inch away from the left front wheel, virtually my arm next to it. I think within an inch from it being crushed by the truck wheel and lying in the pool of blood. I felt complete sinking sort of feeling, and and then there was this whole flash of whiteness and light. I saw a huge amount of light around me, and so it's like you suddenly open your eyes into bright sunlight kind of a thing. So it's a huge amount of sunlight, light, and that's the only thing I remember seeing. And then I saw a form. I can't describe it because it was a form and not a form. I don't know what it was, but then I saw that form, and that form, I would not say it's a hand, but form extending into me and trying to sort of reach to me, hold me, and then suddenly, and after that, I have a very vivid imagery. I actually see myself lying below the truck. So I know I am on the left wheel, my hand is next to it, I have blood spit on my face, right? My this eye is, the left eye is affected, hurt, blood all over it, shirt is torn, all disheveled, just lying there. So I see myself there. And
I would like to have a question on this. When you saw yourself there, so you say that you had seen a white light over there. Could you please describe it clearly what the white light looked as?
I said, look, it was a form without a form. I couldn't say that it didn't have hands, legs, ears. I can't say it, but it looked like there was a form. A form which was closer to the way, if suppose you were to have a human wearing all white without any hand, where you can't see any body part, something like that, but not exactly. So it had a form which is closer to, as I said, somebody completely dressed. Imagine you putting a big white cloth on a human, kind of a thing. So it looked like some form, but was not distinctly a shape. So as I said, so there was a light, but in the light there was a form, right? You could see there was something there, right? And that light extending to me.
Was extending in what aspects, and what was it like when it was extending to you?
It's like that. It's like that. If somebody was to extend an arm to reach you, right? So there's a light, and there's a part of the light extending to reach you. So as I said, if you were to imagine that there's a human with a white cloth on him or her, and suppose the arm is extended, you would not see an arm, but you would see something reaching out to you. So effectively, the light reaching out to you, and then in a flash, I am seeing myself. So I can see the light, and I can see myself. I see myself. There's this truck. The big Telco 16-tonner truck. I am below the wheel with all this injuries. I see myself. I see the light, and I clearly see that happening.
last time was my society.
So once you saw that, did you feel any sort of pain? Did you touch the light?
Uh, I didn't feel pain at that moment, right? Though if I narrate you the kind of injuries I had broken leg, broken arm. When I was finally skull crack, later on I developed facial paralysis. I had fought, but I didn't feel pain at the moment. What I felt, and to your question in terms of touching the light, I said the light reached out to me. Am I holding or not? I sort of can't completely. I can't describe exactly what, because you know I don't know if the light was in my hand or not. I know the light reaching out to me,
Reaching out to you.
reaching out to me.
Okay,
And,
and after that, you saw yourself lying there?
I saw myself below the truck. The truck is standing. I am lying below the left front wheel.
Okay.
You know, I know my arm is there.
Okay.
I know my arm has got blood all over it.
Okay.
I know my clothes are torn.
Mm-hmm.
I know my eye is badly injured. I know there's a blood all over me.
Mhm.
Right. I am sort of crying. So I see myself there. I clearly see. You know, it's like if you were to see somebody else lying, or you were to see mirror. So you know, and I have clear memory of me being there.
Manish, you have been a very good student of science yourself, and with a very good academical background. So, if I may ask you, how would you correlate this with science? Can any science prove this kind of an incident?
So when we study science and physics, I've studied physics. You know, everything is atom. There is mass. There is a physicality into something, and physical things take shape and evolve into a certain shape. You know, that's the science I remember. Uh, but you asked me just now, could I hold it? So I don't think I can hold it, but it is there, right? Does it have a shape? You know, I said there's a form, but there's no shape. I can't describe the shape to you. So effectively, that is not the science I studied in my graduation or my schooling or something. You know, we study science in a certain form. This looks different.
This looks certainly different, and you had a very different kind of an experience. Could you tell me that when you were watching yourself, what were you watching exactly and precisely?
So as I said, I was lying below the truck, and I was on the left front wheel. My arm was just an inch away from the tire, right? I know my arm was full of blood. I could see my eye, this left eye, badly, you know, blood and all kind of a thing. I see blood all over me. I see my torn clothes. I see me lying there. That's exactly what I saw. So I saw myself brutalized in a manner, because that would happen below the truck, and I can clearly make out the truck. So I can see there's a, you know, so I see the truck and I see myself. I see the, you know, the bottom part of the truck and see myself.
Oh. So that means you could see the light, the truck, and yourself.
That's it. I don't remember seeing anything else at that point.
Okay, so these were the three basic things you were watching. So you are now a very big business entrepreneur. You have done your MBA. You have done your engineering from Delhi Engineering College, which is, I mean, a really great achievement. Now, could you tell me that what after that, and how after that you felt, and what were the things you went through at that point of time?
At that point of time or after?
Afterwards, when you left the body, you just after your body was there, what exactly happened after that?
So look, I saw myself, and I saw this form, and I seemed that, look, I don't think I talked, but I think what I remember clearly is I conversed. I don't know, I didn't talk. That I need to be alive. So I wanted to live. I wanted to be alive, and I clearly remembering this form, or this, whatever we can call it, God form, whatever you want to call it, requesting that I need to live. Right, I have a family and I want to live, etc. And I don't think we spoke, but I think you can converse without speaking. I felt I conversed without speaking.
like in a telepathic manner.
Something happened, right?
Okay.
I do not have a technical word for it, but something happened, and then I told you that that form was sort of reaching out to me, and that reaching out sort of stopped, and then the next I see is that I don't see myself. I am lying there. So I'm basically then this whole thing about shouting for help, crying, getting, I need help types came back,
Okay.
kind of a thing. So and then there was no light,
Okay.
or there were people, and I was asking for somebody to help me.
So, how do you think this light and you out of the body? For how much long period did it happen? Do you remember the time phase or
I
anything?
can't, because I can just describe the situation, what happened, and then I know this happened, and then I'm asking for help, and then people are dragging me out of the truck, and then there are a lot of people around, and this crowd is gathered,
Okay.
and all the chaos that normally happens with an accident in Indian roads happened.
Uh-huh.
So then then what happened? I go through my whole journey of coming out of it.
There is a very awkward question coming up. Could you see yourself breathing when you were out of your body?
I don't think I can answer that. I would not have a clue. I just remember that I saw the form, and I saw myself.
You saw yourself.
I don't even say it was my body, but it was me. What body, me, soul, I can't say, but I just saw myself there.
Your body and the
Like
light.
when we see a mirror,
Yeah.
and we talk to a mirror, we see ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
right? But in what physicality it is, but I clearly see. It's like if you were to see a 3D imagery or video of yourself, you would see. So I saw myself effectively, and I saw this form, and then after that, I didn't see it because I was there.
So, how would you, after that, what happened? You were picked up from there and then you were taken to the hospital by the people. And after that, could you tell me how did it all happen and what were the repercussions you faced because of the accident?
I think, as I said, look, I was the pain hit me, and I think I was just below the truck, and I think what happened was, luckily, a couple of guys dragged me below from the truck to bring me on the road, and I am crying and asking for help, and then somebody picked me and put me on a cycle rickshaw, right? And I remember, those days there were no mobile phones.
Yeah.
My brother and the person I reported into had pagers. Pagers are 10 digit
Could you tell
numbers.
about the date exactly and the place where it happened?
13th August 97,
Okay.
Mundka crossing down Rohtak Road, Delhi,
Okay.
right near Bimal Nursing Home where I was taken,
Okay.
right around 3:10 in the afternoon. 3:10 in the afternoon. The time I remember because I was supposed to leave at 2 o'clock, stopped back to have lunch with my colleagues and left at 2:45 to go to the workshops. I was going for some work there, right? And then I was dragged, and I remember the 10-digit pager numbers of me. So effectively in that whole state I spoke 20 digits, which were right because somebody could communicate to my family that this happened and my office that this happened, so I could get help, which is again surprising. I sometimes reflect that I could remember. Today we don't remember mobile phone numbers, but then I remember 2 pager numbers, half hit, badly hit kind of a thing, and then taken to the hospital for a first aid treatment. And
That wasn't certainly your first aid treatment because you have been telling me. Could you show your scars and wounds? You have been going through and explain what happened to you in the hospital.
So I said, look, I was put in this rickshaw, and the rickshaw guy and somebody took me to the hospital. And when I was brought in with virtually torn clothes and all this, luckily somebody in hospital put hydrogen peroxide on me, my arms, etc., to stop bleeding, stop infection, etc. And I think somebody informed the police. The doctors at that nursing home were good. They sort of came and said that I have to be taken to a bigger hospital. The medical treatment those days was much less evolved in India, and but I think the hospital guys realized that my eye would be gone if they don't suture the eyes. So, and I couldn't be given anesthesia because they suspected head injury. So they, so this whole part till here, from this point,
Yes.
from this point till here, this whole eyebrow, above this eyebrow, they did, suturing without anesthesia, which was, since you are in so much where you don't realize whether this is causing the pain or other parts are causing the pain. And, I used to virtually be blemishless during all this. I had scars all over this, my face, and I had a broken left leg. I had rashes on my right hand with a lot of injuries. Left hand, my this arm was virtually gone because, and I had, I would say, bruises all over my body. And then I was taken to another hospital 30 kilometers from the site near my home. When I was brought in, the doctors tested, checked me and said, my eyes were getting dilated, my blood pressure was dropping to 60/40. And then I was advised to be taken to another bigger hospital, which is another 20 kilometers. So by the time I got my first proper treatment, it was around 10:30, 11 at night. And then when my CAT scan, etc., was done, the doctor, they said that there's a slight crack in the skull. My face also got distorted. I was slightly dizzy, and that was there for 5-10 days or something, but it sort of healed on its own. And I was in Mulchan, that's the hospital I went for 17 odd days. Went through surgeries. In fact, I remember I was distinctly that next day morning I was taken for the surgery on my hand, and a doctor clearly telling my family that there's a chance my right hand could get amputed. So when I come back from my operation and you get my conscious back in ICU, the first vivid imagery is that I lifting my left hand to touch whether my right hand exists, and then I realized it existed. And that's where the whole journey of recovery started. This took, I think the first time I stood was 2.5-3 months away. And but in those periods, whenever I left hospital to go home or back, for 5-6 months I just couldn't be on the road with traffic. So I would cover my head with a towel because I could not see a moving truck with all this happening, which was not very, but you have to travel. You have to travel, and then you recoup. So as you live through the things, you recoup out of it, and that's what happened to me. I kept on seeing flashes of light, but not the form. In my try and fall asleep or something. But so that's how sort of, I think that's how then I went through my recovery phase.
So, could you please tell me that after all the things you had, how did it spiritually change you? Because you were a very renowned person with your MBA degree and your, you're teaching new people with the MBA and marketing strategies all over Asia. So, how do you regard yourself? Did it spiritually change you? Did it scientifically change you? Did it numerologically change you? What would you exactly regard the changes as a person after experiencing death very nearby you just went through? So I hope you've got the question.
Well, I think first of all, what I believe is, when we experience bad things in our life, one of the worst things most people want to go is to die. So, having lived through a situation where I virtually, I don't know if I died or not, but I sort of died. And even the doctor said that I could be dead any moment when they shifted me to the final nursing home. I could see my friends, assuming I'm going to die in next few hours or something, another thing. So after having gone through that, you believe nothing can go worse than you. So uh, I have always been a materialistic person. I like my I like the elements which drive materialism, etc. But I also uh, uh, finally believe that I've been through the worst, and hence I see everything. So happiness is very cautious for me. I never get overjoyed. I would not or I would not get depressed, because when I have been going through a very tough time, I always feel, look, it can't be worse than what I went through. Right, and when I sometimes go through extreme happiness, apart from few of such very personal instances, I would always say, look, I'm being very happy, but it could have been worse. So you start becoming more balanced. I become much more balanced, so I don't go to extremes of happiness or sadness, because I've experienced sort of a situation in my life which changed a lot of things. I also value relationships, I think, more, but that does not mean that I would run after people who would give sermons or stuff like that. Etc. I believe there is an ultimate thing you've gone through, and that's what it is. So I would say I become far more balanced and far more cautious in my approach. Not reserved, but cautious in what I would say balanced.
So there is yet another question I'm going to ask you right now, and that is, how did it spiritually improve you? So are you anyways afraid of death now, as you've already experienced that once? So what is your saying on that now? In regards, yes, you have been out of your body, you have seen the white light. How was it being close to the white light, and how would you correlate now that is death beautiful, or is it really something to be afraid of?
I get your question, and if I was to sort of explain, look, if somebody asks me, am I afraid of death or something, tomorrow you go and tell me go and do bungee jumping, I don't want to. Let me put it this way. So it doesn't mean that I'm for or against death. I have still my likes and dislikes, but I could have died. So and I will die one day again. Everybody has to die. So I understand that there is an end to everything. So in that sense, I am not afraid that I would die. I'm sure the people live their lives thinking that what if I die? Everybody will get death. I'll also get death one day, right? So I see as if that's a reality in life, I would rather live the moment. So I think I've also started living the moment and enjoying smaller things in life, and not getting too much fearful of death. I also know there will be a situation when you die, you don't need anything. You're out. So that makes you less materialistic. But so how do if I want to live the moment, I would prefer what I want to be. So if I want to go and dine in a fine restaurant, that's living the moment. But eventually, if I don't get it, it doesn't matter, because eventually when you die, you don't need it, kind of thing. So it's a dichotomy in a sense. Dichotomy in the sense.
That's a beautiful word. Now you know how to balance the life. Yes, how to be materialistic, and how to draw a line between the being rational, materialistic, and spiritual. You had been known to be a very rationalist person, yes. So, what is the basic differences you find right now, being from a rational to some things which you experience yourself? So, how would you correlate that now?
Look, there's a very nice Hindi saying called "हो जाए तो भी अच्छा, नहीं हो तो भी अच्छा." So that's how I think describes me first of all.
So could you say that in English for the viewers? "हो जाए तो भी अच्छा" means if it happens,
it's very good. If it does not happen, even it's okay.
It's better. Yeah, it's better.
It's better. So, so I think that's what would describe me. So I look in my normal working. If I'll give you a very simple part. A lot of people want to play with the PowerPoints and Word and English literature. I'm a very Microsoft Excel person, so I go by numbers. I'm a very objective kind of a person, right? But I cannot have an objectivity to describe what I went through. So if I was to put, otherwise I would try and do a calculation and a formula and objective analysis of everything, but I couldn't describe. I can't objectively describe what I went through. But apart from that, I could virtually objectively describe everything I went through in my life. So that's the answer to you. So there is a rationale for everything, but that situation is something which I don't have a rationale, right? And I thought of studying or going to know about. So the only thing I have tried to know apart from this, so I don't talk more about it. But the only thing is that what started everything, So and I don't have an answer, so I leave it at that. I think this. I don't spend myself too much into reading or trying to understand. It's an experience which I went through. It changed me.
For the better.
Yes, hopefully better, right? It also somewhere I believe it helped improve my remembrance. So I feel a lot of things when I remember things that happened with me in past. Now I see them as videos in my life or photographs in my life. So people remembers. So I remember my things in past. When I remember them, I have seen them as episodes in life and not I remember them as scripts. So if somebody would ask you, can you narrate an incident, I would narrate it as a video. So that's how my that something happened to my way of thinking,
Your
interpreting,
consciousness has expanded, yes?
Yeah, memory, whatever you want to call it.
Tell me, when you saw the light that was asking you if you want to pass over or you want to stay, did you not get a comfortable feeling to feel that death is going to be a beautiful place? What was your experience with the white light?
Look, I don't even know whether I was dying. I only know that I came out. I was there. I was seeing myself, and there was somebody, right? And I was just saying that since somebody was reaching out to me, it's like if there's a child and somebody wants to hold the child's hand, and the child might say, "I don't want to go." Right, I want to stay here. Imagine a child playing, and then somebody wants to take a child. A parent says, "Let's go," and the child says, "I don't want to go. I want to stay and play." So I just communicated
Telepathically.
says, I didn't talk. I clearly, but I think I messaged, whatever you call it. Today's word you can call it messaging. That I want to be here, and I want to be here because I have got a family and I want to be with them or something. Whatever it is, I do not remember if somebody told me you have to go. I'm assuming since I interpreted it that I have to go, kind of a thing, and that's what it is.
So that was a really nice experience you shared with me. That was really an out of body near-death experience which you had, and it totally reformed you, changed you, and made you a little spiritual. Yes. So I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
And I hope that you carry on having a very happy married life, enjoy the life with your children, and get better day by day. With each passing day, you should be right there, spot on. I wish you all the best, Manish. It was really having a word with you. Hi, this is Pankaj Trohan. I'm from the Consciousness, the Cosmic Search, and it's me, Yvonne, and Manish who are having a word right now regarding NDEOBE. So, thank you. Thank you, Manish. Thank you.